cancel. Start again. Oh. Are we back on? We're on now.
We're on? Okay.
I think we're on. Try to go to like refresh and check it out.
Okay. Hey, there we are. How exciting is that?
We are.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cooking with Kat and Steph. It's Wednesday. I'm Kat Ludwig, dietitian.
And I am Stephanie Pepper, and I am...
speech therapist extraordinaire.
Well, I don't know about that, but...
I do, trust me. All right. Welcome, everybody. We are so happy you're with us today.
Yes.
We have one of my favorite topics. I say that every time, don't I?
Yeah, you know, you need to stop the whole favorite topic thing because they're all your favorite.
They're all my favorite. I love nutrition, you guys. I love it.
It's like me saying, speech is my favorite topic. Swallowing is my favorite topic.
I could talk
It's
about
all
it all
her
day
favorite
long.
topic. But that's why we do what we do.
Yes. So this topic is really important for gut health, for brain health, and it's very difficult for people with dysphagia.
It is. Because it's fibrous.
It's fiber. So let's talk a little bit about what we're cooking today.
Okay.
And I'll get into the details about fiber. If you're watching and you're here, if you're new, please say hello. Tell us where you're watching from. If you are a regular and you're here often, please say hi.
Yes.
We, of course, want to see you.
And we will shout for you. Kat has on her party hat for you today.
Which side's it on?
For
This
all
side.
of you.
Yes.
She has a party hat from her party today. So she left it on, and I'm very happy because we're going to celebrate you. It's a party.
Yes. So let's talk spinach.
Let's talk spinach. So I have a bountiful crop of spinach, and this looks really weird. It's paper towels, but I just washed all the spinach from out in the garden. Not all of this, like a 16th of what I had.
And this is a fair amount. This is...
It's rolled up.
Okay.
So this is how I store it.
So spinach is really nutritious. And we love it because when you cook it, it blends really smooth.
It does, especially if you cook it first.
Yes.
So if you try to blend it raw, which you can, it may still have a little bit of texture. Yep. Especially if it's if you get the baby spinach, it may not. I have so much of it. Some of it got big,
a little big.
But we're gonna cook this, so that it gets nice and soft.
So with kale, you need to pull the spines out in the middle. Hey, Megan, good to see you.
Hi, Megan.
With the spinach, even though they're really big pieces, these are still pretty soft. Yeah. These are gonna cook up really well. Hi, Marcia, good to see you.
Welcome back, ladies. We're so happy to have you.
So spinach is a good source of vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin K, folate, helpful for brain development.
So FYI to those of you who are taking vitamin D, iron, and need vitamin C with it, a spinach smoothie would be a great idea.
It's also high in vitamin K, which is contraindicated if you are on a blood thinner like warfarin. So that's the only time I would say don't add spinach is if you're on warfarin or Coumadin. So we got to be careful there. It's also a good source of iron. It's like a magic veggie.
So that's amazing because a lot of people have trouble getting enough iron because iron is often one of the sources that people use to get iron is meat. And meat does not puree well. And so you may be having trouble with that. Spinach is the real deal. It's got it all.
Yep. So it's also high in magnesium and potassium as well. So it's full of minerals. It's full of vitamins. This is a really great option for you to add to soups, to smoothies. We are going to do it sort of eggs Florentine style. We're not making hollandaise today, though. But I want to remind you that anytime you're cooking a veggie that's high in fat-soluble vitamins, we need to add fat to this because this is a fat-free food.
Well, the beauty of that is
Olive
olive oil.
Yes. Or avocado oil or coconut oil or butter. Up to you. We'll leave it up to you.
You know, a lot of times, Kat, I will do oil and butter because that really gives a depth of richness.
And flavor.
And
I
flavor.
totally agree. I totally agree. You can mix your fats. It's going to be very, very helpful. So it's high in fiber. Now, to be honest with you, veggies and fruits, everybody's always a little bit disappointed when they find out how much fiber is actually in things. So for example, we have asparagus, and you have some fresh asparagus here that's hiding over here. I'm gonna grab one. So we have fresh asparagus and we have canned asparagus. So one serving is about half a cup, and that only has about 1 gram of fiber, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but veggies are really low in carbohydrates and calories, using both, Marcia says. So with the fat, circling back to the fat, the olive oil and the butter, yes. So veggies, like spinach and asparagus, are good sources of fiber for how much carbohydrate is in them. So if you look at the label on this asparagus, it says half a cup. It says total carbohydrate 3 grams. But there's only 1 gram of fiber in half a cup. But if you look at the ratio, we're talking 33% of the carb in this is fiber, which is high. So it may not look on the label like it has a lot, but
in ratio, it is.
It's very high. So I'm just gonna run a knife through this spinach before and I'm gonna keep the stems in there.
I think that's going to add to the flavor. I think it's going to cook very soft. I didn't know how much we needed. I didn't see the recipe yet. Is this too much? Too little?
Hold on. I was measuring with my heart.
You can measure with your heart. I just don't want it to be too little.
It says
there's plenty more.
200 grams. So this is, let's see how much it cooks down. Okay. I think for 2 of us, this is probably great.
Okay.
Because this recipe, I suspect, is for 4. Because that's what, oh no, this says 200 grams. So it's about 3.5 ounces-ish of spinach per person.
Do you want me to weigh it?
If you have a scale, you can weigh it.
You don't have to.
We
you
have a
can
scale.
measure with your heart.
You can measure with your heart, yes. But if you have a scale, that'll give you a general idea of how much, and then we'll put it in a measuring cup, and we can see how much that actually is.
Yep.
Okay. So the spinach is high in fiber, which helps with digestion. So what does fiber do? First and foremost, there are 2 different kinds. They're soluble, like this handy dandy apple here. It absorbs water into your gut.
So this much is about 2.3
ounces. Okay. So if we hit 65 grams, that makes sense. So it's gonna, why don't we do double that?
Okay.
Okay.
There's no shortage of spinach. We'll double it.
The garden has plenty. So we want soluble fiber, like the apple. So many fruits are high in soluble fiber. So they absorb water into your GI tract. So if you're battling anything like constipation or diarrhea, both extremes, adding soluble fiber can help pull that water in to the fiber and prevent either one, or address and reduce either one. All right, let me get to chopping.
Chop up, girl.
Okay, so then we have insoluble fiber, which is more like a scrub brush. So that would be like this spinach. So we like insoluble fiber because it helps keep your GI tract, your gut, clean. It's like when you get a pan really dirty when you're cooking and you need a scrub brush to scrub that pan clean. That's what insoluble fiber does in your gut. So why is this important for those of you with dysphagia? Well, a lot of you complain of GI issues. A lot of us without dysphagia complain of GI issues. Most people in this country, I cannot speak for countries outside of the US, but I suspect some of them too, don't eat enough fiber every day. So as women, we need 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. Men need closer to 40 grams a day, which is a lot. And if you're eating half a cup and this only has 1 gram of fiber, it feels like you're fighting a losing battle. So fruits have a little bit more per half a cup. Pears are really high at like 7 grams per serving. Okay, do we think this is chopped enough to...
I think so, because we're
gonna cook it down.
We're gonna cook it down so we can cook it again with the eggs.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Our
took it
pan's
off
ready.
'cause
She took it off because it was getting too hot. So I'm going to come over. And so she just got the butter. The butter started to brown just a little bit. So it's
that
got
will
this
really give it some
beautiful
robust
smell.
flavor.
Yep. I hope you can hear that sizzle.
Can you hear the sizzle? Let me know if you can hear the sizzle. How many people is that here? Nice. 8 people here. Hi. Karen, that's great. We'll talk to you later. She said she'll catch the replay later.
See you later, Karen. All right, let me wash the particles off of
I
my...
get terribly affected by fiber. I can only eat a small amount.
Yeah, so Sarah, that's
Thanks,
really
Megan.
important. Good. So the sizzle is important because that tells us that the pan is hot enough, but not too hot. If it's more of a crackle, your pan is too hot. So we want that really beautiful, light, fragrant sizzle. It's a gentle sizzle. It's not going to get us in trouble or burn our food, which we don't want. So fiber, depending on the type of fiber and depending on what's going on with your GI tract, you may struggle with fiber. And so I usually tell people, start with something very, very gentle, like applesauce. So today, and I didn't get around to eating it, I added strawberry applesauce into some cottage cheese. Now, if you were to blend this, you get a very, very smooth consistency. You get the fiber from the applesauce, you get the protein from the cottage cheese, and it makes a nice snack or light lunch or breakfast. You can eat it any time of the day. So I don't have it blended, but you could blend it and it would taste just as good with that strawberry applesauce in it. So that's an option. This smells so good. I love the smell of butter. I'm glad you added some.
Just a little.
Yep.
To just kind of add it.
So if we're talking fiber, we want to do something more gentle. Typically, when I hear I struggle with fiber, what I hear is you're not digesting carbohydrates well, because fiber is a carbohydrate.
Right, and so one of the things that's very important is that if you're not tolerating fiber well, I know it's easy to look at, you should be getting this much fiber a day. Don't start there. Start where you are and add tiny bits at a time.
Yep. So get a food
Until
tracker.
until your system gets used to it. I can't handle more fiber than I'm used to.
Right.
So when I feel like I've decreased on my fiber, I will slowly add fiber back in. Because it is one of those things that your GI tract will argue.
And it will also feel bad, and you may have some symptoms like diarrhea, cramping, bloating, etc. So we have to be very, very
You want to chop
careful.
it or you want to squeeze it?
I want to squeeze it because I'm lazy. If we can find the squeezer, it's right here. So get a food tracker like Chronometer. Yep, okay, so FODMAPs. We'll go to that in a second. Get a food tracker like Chronometer, plug in all your food for the day, and figure out how much fiber you're getting. And start there. And then increase it by like 1 gram a day.
Very little.
And I wouldn't do something like asparagus as my 1 gram. I would start with something a little more gentle, like a little bit of applesauce Okay? It's rough. Fiber's rough. But if you're not digesting it well, you may want to try something like an enzyme to help you digest those carbohydrates. So I need to find out which apples decrease FODMAPs the most when cooking. So hard. Yes. So FODMAPs, it's an abbreviation for types of carbohydrates. So fructo, oligo, di, mono, and polysaccharides. So they're types of carbohydrates. Saccharides are sugars. Carbohydrates are sugars. And they break down into sugar easily in our body. The problem is our bodies don't all digest carbohydrates well. You might tolerate some and not others. So FODMAPs are types of carbohydrates, and the diet is to help you eliminate all of them and then reintroduce them slowly so you can figure out which ones you don't tolerate well. There are lists out there. Stanford is the one that introduced FODMAPs, and they are kind of the gold standard. They have, I think, the most information online if you're looking into that.
Okay.
If you are a vegetarian, this is not going to work well for you, just FYI. Okay.
I just added a tiny bit of water so it will steam.
Okay.
It's gonna evaporate, but it will steam as it evaporates. So.
Do you want me to add the garlic to this?
Sure.
Okay. Let's do that. So I got one more piece to add. If you like garlic, you can add more. If you like garlic less, add less or get rid of it.
You don't have to add it at all. I love garlic.
And it's good for you. Also high in fiber. So garlic actually is a type of fiber called inulin. And it is the one that typically gives people gas. So I often recommend a supplement called inulin, made out of chicory or Jerusalem artichokes, something along that line. And it is sold as a supplement. It's clear. It mixes clear and thin. Yep. Polyols and oligos. Yes. And I think all apples are the same. So it's not like you can pick and choose between type of apple. So inulin. Inulin is one that we recommend fairly often. However,
Add it slowly.
you have to add it very slowly. It's the one that your body has the most dramatic response to if you add too much. But why do we like inulin?
Because it mixes in thin and not gritty.
Yes, it's a prebiotic. Fiber is a prebiotic. What that means is that your probiotics, your good bacteria, eats the prebiotic. So one of the reasons you may have, yes, that was me. You're welcome. There are people that want reminders. We'll post a reminder that if people want to be notified about our lives, they can sign up for our text reminders. I'll do that later today. So prebiotics are eaten by your probiotics. If you don't have good probiotics in your system, you may struggle more with prebiotics because those good fibers that the probiotics eat are just going to sit there because there's not enough good bacteria to eat them. And we want more good bacteria than bad bacteria. So, I'm going to just clean up my little garlic mess here. All right. So, garlic, nutmeg. It's in here.
How much? My heart?
Measure with your heart. Yes. The recipe says,
Oops.
let me see how much. It probably says like 1/4 teaspoon or something like that. I don't ever measure nutmeg. It just says grating. So definitely measure with your heart.
Okay.
Yep. So inulin is a fructin. And if you understand those things about your body, avoid those. That's understandable. So one of the things that I find is that if we add an enzyme like cellulase, amylase, pectinase, an enzyme that helps you digest your food helps to reduce or remove those symptoms that you're having digestively when you eat those foods. So we recommend the transformation enzymes product fairly often when you eat, especially when you eat those carbohydrates that are high in fiber, because it can help your body digest those more efficiently, and it improves your nutrition status. You can open the capsule and mix it into your food so you don't have to swallow a capsule, and it just helps your digestive system work better. So that's something that we have people try quite often, because you need fiber to help with your GI regularity. Fiber also removes bad cholesterol from your body, so it protects your heart, your cardiovascular health, your blood vessels. It can reduce your risk of stroke, which protects your brain. It feeds your gut bacteria, which also makes your brain healthier, because what we know about the gut-brain connection is that your gut bacteria health directly affects how well your brain functions. So we want you to eat more fiber in a healthy way that your body accepts.
Tolerates it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So find those fibers that work for you and add those. Stay away from the ones that cause you GI symptoms, or find an enzyme that you can take with those foods to help reduce those symptoms.
Mm-hmm. And it may not be that you need the enzymes forever. Until your body gets used to that fiber, it may take a while to be able to tolerate that fiber.
Yep.
Sometimes enzymes help that gap, bridge the gap between tolerating fiber and not. So
Exactly.
it's not always a forever thing.
Yep. So I also grabbed a can of beans, because beans are a really, really wonderful complex carbohydrate. So complex carbohydrate means fiber. So in a half a cup of beans, they're really high in carb. There are 29 grams of carbohydrate in half a cup, which seems really high.
However,
4 grams of that is fiber,
okay,
which is really good. So that's more about the ratio we're seeing when we find carbohydrate fiber ratios in our food. It also has 7 grams of protein, which is fantastic.
right. It's amazing.
Yes. So beans are a good source of fiber, especially if you are not a meat eater.
Right.
The asparagus has 2 grams of protein per half a cup, which is also fabulous, might I add.
I would choose the asparagus over the beans.
Yeah.
Especially those kind of beans.
And there's only 20 calories in half a cup, as opposed to 150 calories in half a cup here. So this is more nutrient dense, but this is also nutrient dense. This is just higher.
These are really good, just because I don't like them that much. I would choose other kind of beans that aren't sweet. To me,
This actually has sugar added. So
which adds to the carbohydrates.
11 of the grams of carbs are sugar. So if you can make your own that are sugar-free, you might be better off, because that increases the ratio of fiber also. And the protein stays the same, which is really great.
Right.
So we love our fiber. We want you to eat more fiber. All right, little bit of lemon juice, and then we'll cook our eggs.
How are we cooking the eggs?
I think we should take our spinach out and set it in a bowl, and then we should cook our eggs and do those separately. Should we cook them over easy, over medium? What do you guys think? How do you want to see us do it? What are your thoughts? We're going to do a little bit of the spinach and get it to a level 5 IDDSI, so minced and moist, and we're going to do some pureed.
Yes. So really, it doesn't matter how you do. We could scramble. You could scramble the eggs.
Over easy. You got it, Marcia.
Okay. Thanks for being the first to answer. Sunny side up. All right, I like that too.
Yep. Depends on how you guys like it.
Yep.
And that's how you're going to cook your eggs when you do this, okay? So I am going to get a little bit of water for when we blend the spinach.
Here.
Thank you. Now you could use broth, you could use a little bit of milk, you could use oat milk, you can use water, totally up to you, the liquid you want to use when you do your spinach.
Usually when you choose water, we recommend that you season that water somehow, either a little bit of salt,
Yes.
or some kind of spice that you like, just so that it doesn't take away from the flavor that you've already added.
Right. Okay, so when you're doing over easy eggs, or any kind of egg, you want low temperature. The water's taking a minute to get warm. Ooh.
Okay. I am putting a little bit of butter in. That's how I like to do my sunny side up, or
Same.
over easy eggs versus oil. You could use oil. Some people do it in bacon grease,
They do.
which is super yummy.
Yep. It's delicious. Depends on you and how you want it done. Okay. Starting to get warmer here. All right. Okay, so we'll need this for when we blend our spinach. All right, should we do all 4 of these eggs? Or just
Yes.
2? All 4. Yes, here we
There's
go.
no shortage of eggs here either.
The ladies are doing their jobs well. Thank you. Get that one all the way. And I'll clean it up, I promise. I promise. I gotta crack it better. Ooh, did I break that one? Yep.
Got it.
Okay, I got the shell out. If you're worried about doing that, crack your eggs in a bowl and then dump them in the pan.
I had butter and water, almost like poaching. Yeah, good.
Yep.
I just read the yolk is the best to eat.
So the yolk is good quality fat. It has omega-3s in it, which you've heard me talk about before. They're so good for you. It also has a mineral called choline in it. Choline is really great for your brain. Eat more choline for your brain.
Yes, and these are farm fresh eggs, so they, what is it called? They're free range. So they were a little more free range yesterday than because somebody forgot to close the gate. There, so we're good.
None of them disappeared.
No.
All right, so we're going to give these a little salt. Some people don't like the yolk. That's okay. If you just want to do egg whites, that's fine too. So I wanted to talk a little bit while these are cooking. I wanted to talk a little bit about other supplements besides inulin. So if you use scrambled egg or egg whites and mix them in with broth while it cooks, will it stay relatively thin or will it thicken? So the trick is cook it low and slow, really, really low heat. You don't want anything to brown. So when you blend them, you can add a little more liquid. If you are just doing soft and bite-sized, you're gonna cook them really, really low and slow so they don't brown, but they will stay the thickness that the yolk is and that the white is if you just cook them with a little bit of liquid in the pan. So the egg yolk is a thickener. We use it in custards to help thicken custards. So if you have yolk, it's going to stay a little bit thicker. If you have just white, it'll be thinner, but because the white is the protein, it's going to be as thick as the protein is when it coagulates, when it cooks. Hi, Katie Lynn. Okay. So other types of fiber. So psyllium, the name brand in the US is Metamucil. Psyllium is the gold standard of fiber supplements per physicians. Psyllium absorbs water. The issue with that is that it thickens as it absorbs. So, but when you're drinking it, it gets thick going down. So for people with dysphagia, I don't often recommend it because it can be dangerous getting it down. If you mix it in your liquid, typically I like orange juice because it tastes best in orange juice because it doesn't taste great. Not going to lie about that. You can let it sit in your liquid and then eat it like pudding if you can tolerate that thickness. If that sounds terrible to you, which it does to most people, we recommend a supplement called Acacia. Acacia. I have to make sure I'm spelling it right in my head. So Acacia is another plant that is high in fiber. It mixes clear. It's a little bit dark, actually. It mixes, you can see through it, even though it's a darker color. Those look so lovely. And it's thin. So when you mix it into whatever you're drinking, you're really not going to taste it and you definitely aren't going to feel it. So I love Acacia. I can mix it into my coffee. I can mix it into juice. It mixes into anything really, really well.
Did you add salt to this?
I did not.
Okay, I'm going to.
Okay. So I'm actually, I don't know if I want to use our little blender for this. I feel like this one might be better just with a fork on the plate for mincing.
I don't know because the edges, I don't know.
They got a little brown, but
they did. But we can. You can cut the edges off. There's a way to cook them so that the edges don't get.
Yeah.
You just. I have a super hot.
You do.
Stovetop.
That burner does not have a low. It
And
says
it
it has
was-
a low. It doesn't have a low.
It was on low.
Yeah.
But if you cook it much slower, and the centers are still a little bit runny, which is good because that's going to help it to blend very well.
Okay.
So should we start with pureed?
Yeah, we should start with pureed. Do you want to do puree them in the same blender or a separate blender?
Same blender. Same
blender. Okay. Do you want to blend them together or separate? Water first into your blender. You'd think we would learn this by now.
Let's do one separate and one.
Okay. One separate and one together.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. So this spinach is about a level 6, soft and bite-sized.
Yeah, we chopped it really small to start, so it cooked down very well.
So it's small, soft. Even those stems, they may look like they're soft. They're really soft. Okay. If it's hot, you leave the top a little bit open. Okay.
I want to separate these so that the yolks don't continue to cook.
Because they will.
Okay.
You can see the garlic in there too. I love it.
The smell, I wish you had smell vision because it smells so good in here.
And we might need a little more water in here. And if you have to put enough water that it's super thin, it's too thin for you, find some thickener and add a little bit of thickener the next time you blend it to thicken it up again.
Or you can add your egg in with this.
Yep.
Which will help it to thicken up.
Grab a little dish.
I should have done the egg first because we want to put the spinach on top, right?
Why don't we do the egg first in this one? And then we can do them both together in the other one.
Always put your liquid first, just FYI.
Yes.
So I'm putting the egg in whole mostly because I don't want to lose any of the yolk. I did not put the top on all the way because of the steam.
Yep. If you're nervous, put a towel over it.
That blended very well.
It did. Smells like a fried egg.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay.
We're going to put a little bit of that spinach on top. We're going to do some Florentine here.
Oh, beautiful. That's lovely. Look at that color, you guys.
Oh, that's good.
Look at that color. Okay. So spinach Florentine typically has hollandaise sauce, which is an egg yolk butter sauce over the top. But we cooked our egg in butter and basically made a sauce out of it. I'm going to add.
We'll do it together and see what the difference is.
Yep. Okay. You want a little more than that, or is that enough?
I think that's enough because
Okay.
there's still some in there.
So other sources of fiber are whole grains, so oats, barley, wheat,
I didn't add water.
rice. There's time.
Okay. Here it goes.
And if you get done with it and you feel like you need to scrape down the sides, just get your spatula. After you turn it off, scrape down the sides, turn it on again.
I think we're going to do that.
Oh, Marsha made hollandaise last night.
Wow.
Love.
I'm impressed because it's not easy to make hollandaise.
It's not. The last time I made it, I screwed it up and I got very irritated. Because I've made it 100 times and
It's
I
not
still,
an easy thing to make.
I still mess it up, yeah.
Okay. Let's do it again.
Okay. So your foods that are high in fiber are fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. We want as many of them in your diet as possible. We like variety. They say variety is the spice of life. I believe it also brings health to your life.
But also, they say eat the rainbow.
Eat the rainbow.
Eat all the colors. Very important.
Okay.
That is beautiful.
And look at how thick and silky that looks.
So delicious. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to taste this. And so good for you.
Yep.
It's got the fiber we need. It's got the protein we need. It's got the carbs we need.
It's got the fat we need. That looks, you guys, look at how thick
Oh my
and
goodness.
silky and smooth that looks.
Okay, so that's the egg and the spinach together. Super, super smooth. Super delicious.
Cannot even believe how smooth that is. I mean, I can because all the things we put in there get that way, but
The egg, I think, did that. So I'm going to taste it separate. So the egg we pureed alone, and then the spinach we pureed alone. We'll see the difference in the flavor. Because sometimes layering the flavors makes it taste differently.
it does. I like that one better.
I think I do too. And it's easier that way.
So, and it's not that I dislike this one.
You
It's
just get more of all of the flavors together.
the flavors meld so beautifully here. In this one, you get one and the other, and that's fine. It's not bad. But side by side, this one's better. This one's good. This one's better.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get... Let's do minced and moist.
Do you want to toss it in here, or do you want to do it on the plate?
I want to try to do it just on the plate. I'm going to cut the crispy edges off.
Okay. I got your special 3-tined fork for this job.
This is my favorite fork.
Okay. So here's the other thing you can do. If you are like Kat and Steph, I don't need pureed all the time. I just need it some of the time. What do I do?
I'm going to cut it first, and then I'm going to mash it with a fork.
Make it like this. Puree some of it. And then use your puree as a sauce. Because sauce makes everything better. In restaurants, they're all about the sauce. When was the last time you went to a restaurant and had a plate that didn't have a sauce on it? It's rare. Like,
So-
I'm talking like fancy restaurant. If you go to fancy restaurants,
And
even
the egg yolk in here is something of a sauce in itself.
but even like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, they all give you sauce on the side
Take a little bit.
for everything.
And I'm just going to mash it.
Yep.
I cut the crispy edges off so the egg is not going to have a crunchy edge. I'm going to take that yolk and
Mash that in.
mash it in. I used a little bit of the pureed. And we are very easily at a minced and moist level just with a fork
Yep.
and knife. I think it would have taken me longer if I hadn't cut it into smaller pieces first.
I agree.
But look at that. It is,
Your knife is your friend.
yeah, it doesn't, you don't have to use a giant knife. That was just there and already dirty, so I used it. Look at that.
Yep.
Soft and bite size. I'm sorry. Soft and bite size and minced and moist, actually.
Yeah.
You probably could just cut it with the knife, and that would be soft and bite size.
Yep.
And then mash it with a fork to make it minced and moist.
Yeah. Delightful.
And very soft.
So it's really interesting because you're not supposed to have to chew minced and moist very well. And that spinach is so soft, it just kind of melts.
You really don't even have to chew it. You can kind of just move it around with your tongue.
And it falls apart.
Yeah. But I could also add just a little bit more and make it a little more moist. Puree a little bit of it.
So you also might have this for breakfast and have this for dinner, depending on how well you do throughout the day. If you're more tired at the end of the day, go to a puree. If you're doing okay and you feel strong at the beginning of the day, start with a minced and moist or a soft and bite size.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Who's going to try this? Let me know because it is
Marsha's having it for dinner.
beautiful. Marsha, I am so excited.
We're having it for dinner also. So
Yes.
good. So fiber is great for your gut. It's great for your heart and your blood vessels. It's great for your brain.
Yes. And it's delicious.
And fiber can have a lot of different flavor. And there are all different kinds of fibrous foods to choose from. So choose
Right.
a variety.
Remember to season as you go. Layer that seasoning. That's going to make it taste even better, especially if you're at this pureed level. You will lose a lot less of your flavor if you flavor it along the way.
Yeah,
It's so good.
can't wait to hear about it, Marsha.
Yes.
Okay.
Let us know.
Spinach and garlic are just like a match made in heaven, though. And then you add the egg on top of it, and it's like this perfect little meal.
And the little bit of butter that we used in addition to the oil when we were sauteing the spinach just added a depth of flavor to it.
100%. It just, that richness is so helpful when it comes to satiety, which means you'll be fuller or you'll feel full, which always feels good. And I know a lot of you are missing that. You don't feel full. You don't feel like you're chewing, so it's...
Mama Becky,
hear
you
you.
need to go make some.
Mom, this is a perfect little meal.
I used to make something with egg and spinach too and blend it up, and it was good. Yes,
Yep.
it is so smooth. So smooth. Look at that.
I think this one's going in our next cookbook. Eggs Florentine, dysphagia style.
That is delicious. All right, guys. I want to hear all about when you do this. Tell us how it is
Yes, please.
because I'm excited.
Okay, add your fiber in a little bit at a time. The only part I did not mention about this fiber thing that's really, really important, Eric gave 2 thumbs up. I like this.
Good deal, Eric. This seems like something that you would like.
Yeah, it does. Water. If
Yes.
you're increasing your fiber, you need to increase your water at the same time because your gut needs to be able to pull that water in from somewhere, and we don't want it to dehydrate the rest of your body. So you need to increase your water a little bit at a time as you increase your fiber a little bit at a time.
So guess what, guys? We'll be back next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have something just as amazing.
It is going to be so good.
So join us next Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
And we will have another amazing meal and have conversation about something nutrition and dysphagia based.
And if you want to sign up for text notifications or email notifications, email would be if you're outside of the country. We can only do text in the US and Canada. Then sign up for notifications, and I'll put the link out tonight for those of you to sign up if you want that. And if you guys don't mind us tagging you every week to remind you that we're here, let us know. Because we're here for you guys, and we want to make sure that you're getting the information you need. We're here to serve you, and we tag at everyone so that you know we're here at the same time every week, and we just want to do what's best for you.
And just to remind you, because we're excited about the information we have to share, and we just want you to know that we're here for you. So
Okay.
we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.